Welcome to the Tailgate Tailgate Show. The tailgate show for the tailgaters. Done by the not-so-ready for primetime pickers. Hosted by the Lunch Eaters Man of the Year and legendary broadcaster Bill Bubba Bussey. You only thought you knew college football. Call Mama Moon and saddle up for a football experience. Now, here's Bubba.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Tailgate Tailgate Show. I'm your host, Bill Bubba Bussey, your semi-retired, mostly washed-up host, formerly of the Rick and Bubba Show, and now the host of Bubba on the Lake. We are glad to be here. Our website is the tailgatetailgateshow.com. Let me get that right. We list our radio partners there if you want to follow along with that. We always want you to subscribe, turn on notifications, all that stuff. We don't want you to miss a thing going on here with the program. And let me introduce the crew, the not-so-ready for primetime pickers, Hunter Bussey. Hunter, how are you?
I'm good, Dad. I'm ready for another weekend of college football. We got the four best teams, and this is where you put nose to the grindstone, and we're about to have a champion crowned here soon, so I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, about the four best teams and how they got there a little bit. Nathan Hall. Nathan, how are you, sir?
I'm fantastic, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous because last week I really felt like I knew what I was talking about, and this week it's going to be even more potentially unpredictable, I feel like, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll go over these records here just a minute before we bring in our guest. You know, when me and Nathan are the leaders at 1-3, that's
that's a problem.
You know, that is the not so ready for primetime pickers right there. Hunter, nice score, 0-4.
Thanks.
Couldn't even get one right, and Clint Lamb 0-4.
Yeah,
couldn't even fall out of a tree and hit a branch. I mean,
yeah,
good night.
The island we're on has holes in it, and we're sinking.
Well, it honestly, it was a bizarre few games. The stats didn't hold up. The history didn't hold up. The things that I like to look at behind the scenes just a little bit didn't play right. So maybe we'll have better luck this week. Our guest picker is a guy I know that many of you have already seen on podcast. It is Zac Blackerby from On Auburn. Zac, thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. And since we're doing a quick blurb about how we felt about last week, I'm stoked about this week because there's no Alabama and no Georgia.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, that brings up a great question, and we got a little more time because we don't have as many games to pick, so we can delve into some of this. It's just strange to me that you have Ole Miss, who, by the way, I'm pulling for now. Okay, I want this to be as screwed up and messy as possible. If Ole Miss wins the national championship and Lane Kiffin does not get a trophy, this is wonderful. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, okay? But what is wrong with this picture? Ole Miss is going to be playing to go to the national championship game. May get there, may not. We'll see. But they didn't even make the SEC championship game. There's something about that doesn't seem right. It almost makes the conference championship games mean nothing. I've argued this all along. I think they should be the first round of the playoffs. If you don't win your conference, you don't go to the playoffs. And that'll cut down on a lot of these meaningless games early on that nobody wants anyway. But we'll break it down. Hunter, what do you think? Is the playoff system, is it giving you everything you want? Something just doesn't feel right about it to me.
I mean, I've been very vocal on this show how I've said that it needs to go to an NFL style of playoff format, and it needs. I'm in the camp of it needs to be 8 teams. I heard someone on ESPN saying it needs to be 18, and I'm like, you are on one today, sir. But I wish that they would at least, like, I get having a committee because everyone want to get away from the computers, but honestly, we didn't have all this drama. Everyone's like, well, there was still drama depending on who was 1 and 2. Well, there's more, uptick and people mad that they didn't get in when there's a 12-team playoff. So it's, there's two sides to the coin. Do I think there's chaos in this? I do. Do I think it's good? Not really. But time will tell. Maybe they'll adjust and figure it out. But I would prefer an NFL like style playoff format.
In other words, there's no committee. You know when you win your division, or you know if you win your conference, you're in. Everybody else goes home. Nathan, what do you say?
Well, first of all, I agree with Hunter, everything he just said. This needs to be a numbers game. This needs to be an NFL format where if you win the AFC South, you go to the playoffs. If you win the NFC North, you go to the playoffs. It could be done. I don't think the NCAA is going to ever get around to doing that. But, Bubba, I told you this before we got started. This take is going to ruffle some feathers. But the SEC is not the big bad wolf anymore. I mean, I'm sorry. You could argue that top to bottom, it's the most competitive conference. But the Big Ten is the most top-heavy conference if we're talking about the heavy hitters. We are about to be on our third year of a Big Ten national champion in a row. I mean, the writing is on the wall for the SEC. And a couple of these teams that made the playoff, Oklahoma and Alabama was the toilet bowl. And nobody wanted to admit it because this was a legacy program matchup. But Indiana completely exposed Alabama as a fraudulent, and when I say fraudulent, I don't mean they're a bad team, but they're not a championship caliber team. Georgia just played an Ole Miss team that on paper is completely inferior if we're just going roster to roster, and couldn't get it done, which that bodes well for the SEC because Ole Miss is in the SEC. But we're about to have, I think, an Indiana versus Miami national championship matchup, which is ACC conference that we've been told is a joke and is completely uncompetitive. I think Miami is going to make it to the national championship game, and Indiana is about to make it from the Big Ten. So I think the SEC being the it means more or whatever they like to say. I don't think it does mean particularly more, honestly. I think they're just like everybody else. I think NIL has created an incredible level of parity in college football, which I love to see. And one thing that I'll disagree
except for Auburn.
Except for Auburn, but I mean, we don't have to go. This is a happy episode, okay? We're talking about the Final Four.
Right.
Let's just keep it. Let's avoid the emotional trauma. But one point that I'll disagree with Hunter on is I would be fine seeing more teams in the playoff. I don't think having more teams is ever a bad thing. I mean, earn your way to the national championship game. If you have to get through 10 teams to do it, somebody has to make it. In the March Madness bracket, 2 teams have to make it to the final. Maybe it's, VCU or maybe it's a blue blood, but, it's entertaining. So, yeah, SEC is no longer the big bad wolf. We need 1 million teams in the playoff. It needs to be an NFL system. That's what I think.
Zach, what do you think about the playoffs? Broke? How would you fix it?
Yeah, I don't have a huge problem with it. I think what we're seeing now is what we had when it was 4 teams, just a little bit more at scale. I think when it was 4 teams, there was always that 1 or 2 teams where it felt like we were settling a little bit. It's like, yeah, okay, this team and this team definitely should go in, or on years where there were 3 really good teams, and it's like, okay, the debate was over 4, and that's when we always lowered the bar. I think we're just seeing that at scale now. There's still 2 or 3 elite teams going into it, and then everybody else is just, all right, we're kind of having to settle and act like certain wins matter more than others down the stretch when they probably don't. But the brand that you are, the brand that you carry, and the logo that you have on your helmet seems to matter more for others. And that typically does fall into the SEC. And then when you're on the biggest stage, you look like frauds, right? To y'all's point, where the SEC has not helped itself at all this postseason. So I did think the jump from 4 to 12 was interesting. I feel like we skipped 8 there, and I think if we should have kept going, I think 16 makes more sense than 12. And, I mean, it sounds like you guys didn't have a good record picking last week, and I assume that's because you picked the home teams in most of those situations, and I did too. I did too elsewhere because those were the better teams and have been the better teams throughout. If the whole point is to get a top 4 seed to benefit and reward teams who have been the top 4 teams all year, that should be an advantage. And statistically, now 2 years into it, they're 1-7.
Yeah.
With this bye. You've got to fix that, and you have to fix that this offseason.
Well, that brings up a question. You got, is that week off what's throwing people off, or is it just the way the matchups fell? Theoretically, you being off a week should help you out. You should get your nicks and cuts and bruises in better shape. You get out there, you get ready to play. Even Indiana looked bad on their first series. They had 2 sacks, and then they went nuts after that. But I don't know. It's so strange. I mean, on paper, as you said, Zach, that ought to be a huge advantage, but statistically, it's not. 1 in 7. That's pretty overwhelming evidence at this point.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. In these 4 games we had, we were looking at matchups. We thought Indiana and Alabama would be good. We also thought we thought Oregon and Texas Tech was going to be the one.
I believe the quote was, if it's going to be an X's and O's game, it's going to be a close one between Texas Tech and Oregon.
What idiot said that? Me? Zach, here's the thing, though. I want to point this out. You're talking about our picks, and they were horrendous last week.
Oh, mine were 2, guys. Mine were 2. Yeah.
Overall,
I think I was 1 and 3. Yeah.
Overall, I'm 91-35. Hunter is 83-43. Nathan is 83-43. So, if we were coaching, that would be an outstanding record. But last week, man, It was a stinker. Zach, what game surprised you the most of the 4 that we saw?
Oh, Alabama and the lack of them showing up. I just kind of felt like Indiana might have been overhyped, or maybe they felt like beating Ohio State for the Big Ten championship kind of felt like their national title of like, okay, that's what we wanted to do. And nope, Kirk Cignetti's like, no, we're not gonna stay high, boys. We're gonna get back to it. And that's exactly what they did. And it's just weird still seeing Alabama get pushed around. It doesn't look right. Like it's just you've seen the opposite for so long. So that one and just the sheer dominance of Indiana, that one surprised me the most.
Yeah, I agree. I think that has to rank. And I've watched Alabama play longer than you guys have. I've been around longer. I don't remember them getting pushed around except during that period of time when they had some really bad coaches. I mean, pre-Saban, post-Bear. Now, they won a national championship in there, but they had some, 5-6 win seasons. But this team was pretty good and has played some very good football during the year. But, and Hunter, let me ask you this. Indiana has really kind of come out of nowhere over the last 2 years. A lot of people would call them a Cinderella. A lot of times Cinderella programs do great, and then it strikes midnight when it really counts. Mm-hmm. And they're out, and then you go, well, next year, all that. Are you surprised Indiana has kept their dominance through the year? I mean, they're just grinding up people like a meat grinder.
I mean, Coach Sig is a Saban disciple, so I'm shocked that Indiana as a school is being successful, but I'm not shocked that Sig is successful, if that makes sense. Because he's to me, if they can pull this off, because correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan, we were talking about this the other night. Wouldn't they be the first 16-0 team to pull this off?
Yes.
If they pull this off, he's I'm not saying he's in the GOAT conversation, but
he'll have a statue in Bloomington.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. I agree with that. And I just think it's kind of wild to see that play out how it has. Because, Mendoza was at, Cal last year, and Sig has turned him into a Heisman winner. It's what's going on in Bloomington? What's up?
Nathan, let me ask you this, because I know you love Indiana more than anybody I know in our state. What's Coach Sig done? I mean, I know Saban has the process, and football's about bigger, meaner, faster guys beating up on guys not as mean, big, and fast. But for him to turn that program around in 2 years, I mean, has he had a pile of NIL money I'm not familiar with, or what has he done? I mean, he's Superman right now.
Well, the first thing I'll say is the Indianapolis Colts need to be on the phone. Chris Ballard needs to get on the phone with Cignetti tonight, because we got some stuff that needs to be cleaned up, and he's the guy to clean it up. I don't view Indiana as a Cinderella. That might be kind of a weird thing to say, but last year they finished with 12 wins. They lost to Notre Dame and Ohio State, 2 elite teams at the time. Mm-hmm. And everyone said it's a fluke. I mean, this was a cute season from Indiana, but this is not going to continue into next year. They were ranked 20, I believe, in the preseason rankings. And I will give credit to Joel Klatt, who I disagree with on a lot of things as it pertains to college football. Joel Klatt was the only voice in media that came out and said, watch out, guys, because Indiana is not only going to continue this success, they're going to be much improved. And, I mean, we're seeing that now. And to answer your question about the culture difference between Indiana and Alabama, I learned this today. Alabama built a podcast studio in their football facility for players to use to do podcasts. And I believe it was Ryan Williams and Jalen Mbakwe had a podcast going this season. And those are two guys who have not really performed great on Saturdays. So you have to wonder how much of the culture shift is to blame, because Chris Signetti has obviously come in and said, look, guys, we are a band of 3 stars, a couple of 4 stars sprinkled in, and we're just going to be meaner and tougher than everyone we play. We're not really going to be faster necessarily. We're not going to be able to jump higher, but we're going to beat people into the ground. And I think Alabama has lost a lot of their edge, their Saban era, Jeremy Pruitt era, Kirby Smart era toughness. And it goes back to what I said earlier about the SEC is not special. We are seeing this now, and it's largely to do with NIL. Players can go anywhere. Coaches can offer them a bag and attract talent that they couldn't have a couple of years ago. And the script A does not scare people like it did 5 years ago. They're just a weak football team. And Indiana is going to dominate you in the trenches. And, I mean, it's as simple as that. But, yeah, we need to get Signetti to the Colts. I'm going to make some calls. I don't think they're going to answer.
Just because he's good in college doesn't necessarily mean he'll be successful in the pros.
That's true.
Nick Saban and Steve Spurrier are examples. All right, we're a little over on this segment. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about the very specifics and go ahead and pick the final 2 semifinal games. You're listening to the Tailgate Tailgate Show.
All right. It's a beautiful day for football here at the stadium, and we're just about ready for kickoff. Score 0-0. And suddenly, I'm in the mood for a Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, zero sugar. Now that's a winning combo. Yeah, crisp, refreshing. That hits the spot. When it comes to great taste, Coke Zero Sugar's always on the scoreboard. Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, zero sugar.
Hey Auburn fans, this is Lois Ann Murphy, your owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Alex City, located on Highway 280. As a former Auburn cheerleader, football is my favorite time of the year. Tailgating and Chick-fil-A are a perfect match. Let Chick-fil-A Alex City take care of all your catering needs. We have a variety of trays, nuggets, mac and cheese, grilled cool wraps, and more. All are perfect for your tailgating needs. Place your order through the Chick-fil-A app or call 256-289-7955 and War Eagle.
Attention business owners, print buyers, and production managers. Guaranteed Labels is here to help you focus less on your printing, labels, decals, and focus more on growing your business. Guaranteed Labels wants to be your reliable printer. Quality, on-time shipments, and stock programs set us apart. If you're needing to focus less on your printing and more on your business, trust Guaranteed Labels, 205-640-4552 or GuaranteedLabels.com. Guaranteed Labels, still sticking since 1988.
We're back. It's the Tailgate Tailgate Show, the not so ready for primetime pickers, and we proved that last week beyond any doubt. We're down to the final 4, the semifinal games. Let's look, gentlemen, on Thursday night. We will have the Miami Hurricanes and the Ole Miss Rebels, number 10 and number 6 seeded in the tournament, playing for a chance to go to the national championship game. Hunter, we'll start with you. We'll run the table. How do you see it?
I would like Ole Miss to win this game because it would just be a great story. And like you were talking about earlier in the show, it would just create the ultimate chaos. And it would just be a great storyline overall with Kiffin sitting, on his throne at LSU because he said, I want to win a championship. And now he's gone and his team's one game away from being in the national championship game. But that Miami defense showed me something, and they beat the reigning national champs pretty handily. Keontae Scott, out of nowhere, former Auburn guy. Where was that at, my man, when you were on the Plains? He's balling right now. That's correct. Give me the Hurricanes in this game. I wish the Rebels could pull it out, but I just think Miami's defense is going to be too much, and Sid the Sloth behind the center won't have to worry about much of much of anything, I don't think, because Ole Miss doesn't really have a lot of firepower on defense like Miami does. So I like the Hurricanes.
Nathan, how do you see it?
I'm gonna switch things. My gut has been telling me Miami for a while, but I'm gonna say Ole Miss just based on the fact that the energy in that locker room with this whole Lane Kiffin situation that's happening. I mean, we're talking about 18 to 22-year-olds that know that they have a chance to do the funniest, coolest, make a Disney movie about it type situation imaginable. And that's going to play a factor. And Trinidad Chambliss, who I've been probably too critical of, and I remember back when Ole Miss played Oregon in the regular season, and I said he's going to look good for 3 quarters, and then he's going to collapse between the hedges in the fourth quarter. He's going to turn back into the D2 quarterback, the Ferris State, or wherever they got him from. And I looked stupid after that Ole Miss Georgia game. I mean, 362 passing yards and no picks. And his fourth quarter performance, Tim Tebow, I think, was the one that after the game called him over and said, that's one of the best quarterback performances I've ever seen in a big-time college football game. Trinidad Chambliss is legit, and I'll gladly admit that I've been wrong about him, I think. But even though my gut kind of leans Miami, just for the comedic glory, the meme that it would turn into if Lane Kiffin had to watch his squad go win a national title, I'm going to try to just speak that into existence. It's going to be Indiana Ole Miss.
Wait a minute, is that an upset?
It's an upset.
Is it?
That's an upset. The Rebels are getting it done.
The upset air horn has sounded. That you just can't write comedy like what Ole Miss is doing. You can't. Zach, what do you think? Miami, Ole Miss, Thursday night, and they're playing at 6:30, which I like.
Yeah, I agree with Nathan. I think Ole Miss wins this game. I think at this point, all the rosters are talented. All the rosters have dudes. And, yes, Miami's defense is good, but to win at this point in the season, you need quarterback play. And I just trust Trinidad Chambliss more than I trust Carson Beck at this point. I think Miami's done a good job in key games making it not about Carson Beck and just kind of make it easy for him to succeed. I think Ole Miss's defense is a little underrated, and I think they're going to do just enough to kind of make him uncomfortable. And look, Carson Beck's not the same guy when the lights are super bright, and I think it's going to be a situation where they are going to have to score to keep up with Ole Miss over the course of 60 minutes. So give me Ole Miss. Sure, it'd be funny, absolutely, and I'm all for the anti-Lane storyline at this point. I think most of college football is, and Lane asked for that.
Yeah,
Lane signed up for this.
Yeah, he did.
He wants to be the villain. Let him be the villain. The college football world's going to be pulling for Ole Miss, and I think they win. Yes, air horn.
Yeah, the numbers I have show Miami about a 3-point favorite, so that is an upset. I'm going to go with y'all. I would, probably Miami looks – I should pick Miami is what I'm saying. The numbers are there. The momentum is there. By the way, did y'all see Michael Irving put the shirt on the cooler and take his belt off and whip it violently over and over? Did y'all see that? Zach, did you see that?
That was aggressive.
I saw that and I thought, hey, that guy's got some problems. I mean, he was doing that way too hard, I mean, there's a kid somewhere going, yeah, you see why I tried to turn him in right now. I mean, golly.
Michael Irving is a very passionate individual. He got to, there's this meme that's all around from a couple years ago where he's getting tore up about how we're losing recipes. So it's just, he's a very passionate individual.
Well, I'm gonna go.
Maybe he just hates coolers.
Yeah,
maybe he likes water.
Yeah,
That's possible.
Maybe he likes the old cups or the squeeze bottles.
Yeah.
Something. I'm gonna have to go with y'all. I think just my absolute wanting to see chaos in this and have Ole Miss, who has not the conference champion, not the runner-up, who has never been to Atlanta ever since we had a conference championship game, have never played in it. There's just something about them becoming national champions that I'm just digging for some reason. I don't know. But so I'm gonna have to give it to myself too. I am going with the Rebels, Ole Miss, to set down the Hurricanes.
I guess my island that I'm on over here is shaped like a U because I'm the one that picked Miami out of the screw. So.
You know what? If they win, it'll help your numbers out. That's for sure.
It will. My God.
We move over to Friday night, and we have Oregon and Indiana. They have played before. Indiana beat them on their home field, and Indiana is playing lights out right now. Any hope we see an upset? I'll flip it around. Zach, we'll go to you first. Oregon and Indiana Friday night.
It seems like Indiana, this is going to be a historic team. I mean, we talk about certain teams differently, like 2019 LSU. I think it's really the last time we had one of these. I think Indiana is on a path of destiny, and I just think Oregon's the next casualty here. And once again, quarterback play. You taking Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore? I think Dante Moore's in a similar situation where the Oregon system and the Oregon skill players, I think they kind of set up Dante Moore to look better than he actually is at times. And I think Fernando Mendoza is the guy carrying the Indiana offense. So give me the best quarterback in both of these matchups. And so that's Indiana. I want to pick Oregon just so I can hear the blowhorn again, but I guess that's not going to happen.
You know what? You may get it again before it's all over. Nathan, what do you say?
Everyone, when it comes to Kurt Cignetti, is so quick to just say NIL, NIL, NIL. Oh, he's got NIL money. That's why. First of all, Indiana in Bloomington they're not sitting on a pile of NIL money. I don't know who spread that around, but they're just not. And Oregon is sitting on the Phil Knight stack of cash. I think they have unlimited NIL, basically. So the fact that Indiana went to Eugene earlier in the year and won that game convincingly, the final score was a 10-point spread, but it felt worse than that for Oregon. And it felt like a dominating performance by Indiana. So I don't see anything changing on a neutral field. I agree with Zach. This feels like it's more than just on paper comparisons, like something special is happening with this Indiana team. And I would be, after last week, I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. So it's probably
that's what my email
Oregon
said, Nathan.
Oregon beats Indiana 50-0 and Miami beats Ole Miss 42-7, and I look like an idiot again. But I think, in my heart of hearts, in my half Hoosier heart, I think that Kurt Cignetti and the Hoosiers are going to take care of business, advance to 15-0, and have a shot at the national title.
Hunter, what do you say?
Yeah, I agree with Nathan talking about Oregon's NIL situation. They're literally sitting on the Shoe Dog's money. I mean, it's literally his pocketbook, his bank account, and they got unlimited of it for days. But that being said, I think Indiana, I like them in this game. I think Sig's going to have them ready. They smell blood in the water. Like Zach was saying, the whole story, going into this playoff was, they, beat Ohio State in the conference championship game, but I don't know. I think Bama's going to beat them. Well, they have blood in the water. They're smelling it, and they're ready to have a frenzy, and I think they will beat Oregon again. I know it's hard to beat the same team twice. I get that, and Oregon's not a bad team, but I just think Indiana's playing really good football right now, and I like them in the national championship game.
Well, I'll make mine quick and easy here. Hoosier! I'm not picking against the Hoosiers again the rest of the year. Just not doing it. They have burned me close to 16 times, okay?
I don't know if I will ever pick against Kurt Cignetti again as long as he's coaching.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick against him.
I think he's reached that status, right?
Yeah.
We always kind of felt that way when Nick Saban was at the top of his game, or maybe Kirby Smart a few years ago. I mean, it almost sounds ridiculous to say, but he's almost to that point.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
He really is. And I would love to know some of the cultural changes he's made inside that program. I have a pretty good idea, but I would love to hear it. All right, we're going to take a break. We will come right back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about NIL and some of the other teams and things that are going on with them. You're listening to the Tailgate Tailgate Show.
Land is more than just dirt and timber. When you manage it, you're a steward of wildlife and a caretaker for future generations. The management advantage was built for people like you. For over 20 years, they've shared proven knowledge from some of the nation's top land and wildlife managers. From food plots to predator control, it's education that turns passion into a lasting impact. Have the advantage on your property. Subscribe on YouTube and follow the Management Advantage on social media today.
On the water or off, experience lake life to the fullest at Russell Lands on Lake Martin. Grab a latte at Brew 63, linger over lunch at Fanny's, or take in a Lake Martin sunset at Kalijah Restaurant. Whether you're here for the weekend or you've made your home at the lake, Russell Lands is where community and the land come together. To learn more about upcoming events, visit russelllands.com. Come see what lake life is all about.
Hello, this is Robert Smith for Awards to Remember. I hope you'll think of us for trophies, plaques, and awards. We're famous for our low discount prices, and our customer service is second to none. We were named as one of the top 10 awards dealers in the Southeast. We were a finalist for Alabama Small Business of the Year, and our website at awardstoremember.com is one of the best in the industry. Awards to Remember, where we don't just create trophies, we create memories.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the Tailgate Tailgate Show. I'm your host, Bill Bubba Bussey, along with Hunter Bussey, Nathan Hall, and special guest picker Zac Blackerby from Locked On Auburn. Guys, we've picked the games, but there's some other stories with college football out there right now. I think everybody agrees that the whole NCAA thing is so messed up right now. The Supreme Court got gutted on this, and they've got gutted twice by the Supreme Court, and now they won't do anything. They're scared to do anything. It is the Wild Wild West. Players can negotiate, go do anything they want to. There's no violations possible. How do you reel it in? Bruce Pearl was asked those questions, and they're joking about him becoming from coach to commissioner. But here are Bruce Pearl's changes for the NCAA. Congress will have to help establish a collective bargaining agreement. That means unionize the college players. Adjust the transfer portal, the money, $25 million for CFB, $10 million for CBB. And then 5 years of eligibility, no appeals. So, guys, what do you think about that? And I'm going to start this conversation by saying the calendar that we're currently going by with the NCAA is absolutely bonkers.
Atrocious.
We start the bowl game series, and you know, working at Jack State, I see this. The transfer portal opens up, and if you are an early team that plays, possibly you go to a bowl game with players you didn't play all year. They've already entered the portal. They've made deals for bigger NIL. Coaches leaving before the season's over. I mean, I don't know. It's just common sense to me. There ought to be a window that coaches can leave and take new jobs after the season is over. And then after the coaches are settled, then the players can enter the portal, go where they want to. We've got all these different windows now. It's just absolutely the wild, wild west. We have no rules. And what Bruce was saying, if you let them unionize and they make a contract, they have to go by it. That's why the NFL players can't just go anywhere they want to. They're under union rules that they agreed to. So once you make the rule, you have to live with it. So how can we fix this? And what do you think about Bruce's comments, Hunter?
Yeah, I agree with it. All the NCAA had to do was pay the players so they could afford food outside of classes and everything else, college expenses, which is insane. But I feel like at some point there has to be some type of regulation on this because, like, what was the stat on that? It was like a certain amount for college football and college basketball.
Yeah, it was like 25 million. 10 million, like 10 million for basketball.
Like the fact that like an Oregon or a Texas or Texas Tech, Texas A&M, like where you have the oil money out in Texas and then you got Nike money out in, Oregon. It's just like unlimited NIL. And for some schools, like, does it show for, championships? Not really with those schools, but they're going to have that unlimited amount of money. So you have to regulate that at some point, I feel like. And I wish that, I'm in the camp of make Saban the commissioner. I don't know if y'all have seen people, want him to be the commissioner of college football or just college sports in general, but I feel like he had some good things to say. But I like Bruce's comments. I wish that Congress wouldn't have to get involved, but they're going to have to. I'm not anti-government or anything. Let me clear that up out of the way. I'm a patriot.
You got to have guardrails. You got to have guardrails, and the only people that can set that could withstand the challenge from the Supreme Court is the Congress. It is the Congress's responsibility to make law in this country. That's what they do. That is their authority under the Constitution. So I'm like y'all. I'm anti-government bending things as much as possible. But in this case, they need to set the guardrails up just like they had to lay the interstate system out.
Yeah, I do think
we all like the interstate, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Who doesn't?
I just think it's ridiculous that you have players leaving before the postseason starts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Could you imagine if the NFL had that? And I said this, a couple episodes ago, but the year the Rams went to the Super Bowl, could you imagine if Aaron Donald was like, peace, I'm going to Jacksonville? Like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Could you imagine the madness that would cause? And it's happening right before our eyes in college sports. If they can just regulate that and get that under control, I think it'll be fine. But right now it's just pure chaos, and it's the Wild Wild West.
Nathan, what do you think? What can we do?
Well, I think the courts got it right back when they said, okay, let's look at this. These players are making their schools billions with a B upon billions of dollars. They deserve to be, paid what they're worth. Now, originally, this was, people said Johnny Manziel should be able to profit off of his jersey sales in the bookstore. Tim Tebow should be able to do a Ford car commercial in Gainesville if he wants to. These players should be able to use their brand to make money. But then it sort of devolved into, hey, the university can just hand you $8 million straight up in a paper sack to come play football here. And I feel like something is eventually going to have to be done about that. But to me, the most glaring issue is the transfer system. There needs to be, you talked about guardrails. It needs to be a system where every player gets one free transfer. So from the time you step foot on campus, you've got one transfer to burn. You can go wherever you want for whatever reason. After you spend that free transfer, you have to experience head coaching change. So if you transfer from Auburn to Oregon and that head coach stays at Oregon your entire time there, you're stuck at Oregon. But if Dan Lanning says, hey, I recruited you to transfer to Oregon, I'm taking the New Orleans Saints job, surprise, you should be able to transfer again because you went to play for that coach. So the transfer situation, I think, is a bigger problem. There's no reason why someone should be transferring 5 times in their career. I mean, that's a joke. Come on. But, yeah, something's going to have to be done about the money, too. Isn't there a salary cap now, like a $22 million, I want to say, salary cap on schools?
Well, it's what the schools can put into the program, but the NIL is totally, it's another stream, and it's totally unregulated. But even in Major League Sports, like baseball, they tax the bigger markets, the luxury tax, they call it, to pay the smaller markets because they can't compete with salaries because they don't have the TV audience. Zach, what do you think? You're a smart guy. How can we fix this?
Tell my wife that.
I guarantee you didn't tell her how much that microphone cost.
That's true. That's definitely true. It just shows up. It just shows up at the door. No, I think I don't think NIL is inherently bad. I think this is more about the players going from having no leverage to having all the leverage. And I think Nathan touched on the core issue. I think the transfer portal is more of a problem than NIL is. Do I think they should still have the ability to leave after a single transfer? I do, but what comes with that, right? Is it like the way it used to be where you get one transfer and then you could transfer and you can sit out, or if you graduate, then you can grad transfer? Like, I don't think there's any issue with that the way it used to be, and now there's NIL, and so you can definitely do it. But everybody just having these one-year deals and the players having all the leverage, I think that's why all this is so inflated. I don't think it's inherently NIL. I think the portal is more of an issue. And then another thing,
portal,
like,
the pendulum swung too far, so to speak.
It did, yeah. And then, Hunter talking about, whether it's Nick Saban or Bruce Pearl, whoever, there does need to be a core leader in this. Every other professional league has a face, has a commissioner. And we've got conferences, and, I think Sankey's, one of the best commissioners in sports. I think he's done a fantastic job with the SEC, but he's super limited in what he can do. So there's got to be something that the Power Four does to come together to either elect a body or a commissioner over, P4 football or whatever that might be. Because at this point, like, there's no enforcement. I mean, the whole tampering thing is a joke. The whole pay-to-play thing was a joke before, that wasn't even allowed. Like, all of this stuff where these loopholes are, almost intentionally miles and miles wide. I think if you have a central governing body, because the NCAA is not going to do it, I think that would go a long way as well.
We have heard from the experts. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back to wrap up this edition of the Tailgate Tailgate Show. Don't go anywhere.
Looking for your dream home at Lake Martin? Trust Adam Yeager at Lake Martin Realty. Adam's honest, hardworking, and puts you, the client, first. Every time. With his local expertise and dedication, he'll guide you to the perfect property, hassle-free. Whether buying or selling, let Adam go to work for you. Call Adam Yeager at Lake Martin Realty today, 205-914-0830. Lake Martin Realty is a licensed real estate brokerage. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey Auburn fans, this is Lois Ann Murphy, your owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Alex City, located on Highway 280. As a former Auburn cheerleader, football is my favorite time of the year. Tailgating and Chick-fil-A are a perfect match. Let Chick-fil-A Alex City take care of all your catering needs. We have a variety of trays, nuggets, mac and cheese, grilled cool wraps, and more. All are perfect for your tailgating needs. Place your order through the Chick-fil-A app or call 256-289-7955 and War Eagle.
On the water or off, experience lake life to the fullest at Russell Lands on Lake Martin. Want to know what's going on around Lake Martin? Check out the calendar of seasonal events that include Fridays on the Green, naturalist events, fireworks, concerts, poker runs, boat shows, juried art shows, boat parades, and much more. If you're here for the weekend or if you've made your home at the lake, Russell Lands is where community and the land come together. To learn more about upcoming events, visit russelllands.com. Come see what lake life is all about. Welcome back, everybody. It is the Tailgate Tailgate Show, done by the not-so-ready for primetime pickers. We appreciate you being part of the process. Zach, we appreciate you joining us as our guest picker tonight. And this is a little segment we call Plug, Plug, Plug Away. Tell everybody what you do and where else they can hear your expert commentary.
Yes. I podcast for a living. I talk about the Auburn Tigers. Locked on Auburn, available wherever you get your podcast. Multiple shows drop every single day. And we also have the Barn Auburn YouTube channel, which Hunter is now officially part of. You've been hopping on there good, but now it's official with your own show, which is super, super exciting. So glad to hear even more Hunter Bussey.
Well, Zach, you do a wonderful job, and you're always exciting and entertaining, and we just appreciate you being on the show. We want to have you on again. Hunter, go ahead, plug away. It's your time.
Yeah, it's funny. I never get to do this part, so this is an experience. I got the opportunity to co-host a show with Graham McLean, and it's called the Barn Social Hour, even though it is a 30-minute show.
Perfect.
That's the fun part of it. It's just a fun, laid-back, nightly show talking about everything Auburn that's going on with this transfer portal chaos, basketball, you name it, we're talking about it. So come on over. The first episode, by the time this is out, it's already out. But it's actually live right now, I'm pretty sure. So, as we're recording this. So, I'm excited for the opportunity. I'm thankful for the opportunity and can't wait to do more with the Barn. So, as well as work with Dad on Bubba on the Lake and Tailgate Tailgate. That's the primary. This is, I got my plate full and I'm starting off 2026 with a bang like this podcast.
Well, there's a lot of times I come back from the buffet with several things on the plate. There's no doubt. Nathan, you got anything you need to plug?
I'm just hanging out, man. I think you guys nailed it.
What about a Spanish class? Don't you teach that somewhere?
Yeah, I do. I teach ESL. I'm a middle school teacher. I don't know how exciting that's going to be to the viewership, but yeah.
Well,
it's going well. It's going well.
You've really helped to pull in the Latino listeners to this show. And I appreciate it.
We've got the World Cup coming up this summer. We might have to do the Tailgate World Cup. I know Bubba loves soccer.
You know what? Man. You know what? I will not be on that show. I will not be on that one. Look, I'm glad people love that. I've tried to watch it, and I felt like taking my own life by halftime. So I just can't do it. I really had rather watch paint dry. Sorry, but it's just the way I am. Well, guys, as far as plug away for me, we have Bubba on the Lake, and we have the Tailgate Show. We're going to have at least one more of these, and then we'll see in the spring what kind of opportunities come up. We're always playing and looking for new things to do and how we can do it and have a little fun with it. And Zach, you guys, I tell you, y'all have really got a neat operation, and all your video looks good. Your audio looks good. Y'all are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. I appreciate. I think about it 24/7. So I'm glad it turns into something halfway decent.
Just think if you had a team that actually won 6 games a year every now and then, how much fun you'd have.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. We get nice bumps, though, every other offseason when there's a coaching search, though. So
that's true.
Let me ask you this, Zach.
With goalish.
So, because you cover Auburn, I've got to ask you this question. I know Hunter was very concerned about all the players transferring and getting in the portal and all of this, and I'm a little bit of Coach Sig on this. If you don't want to be here, don't let the door hit you in the rear on the way out. Because I think there's, we've all been heartbroken growing up as little kids, and we thought that was the only person in the world that we would ever be in love with. And hey, we found out there's a lot of them out there. You know what I mean? A lot of other options out there on the table. Now, there's that one perfect one, but there's a lot of other options. Zach, I saw a post from a former player who showed the wide receiver room and gave some disturbing stats about drop passes, lack of, this and fumbles lost and all this, and said, and you want a pay raise? Good riddance. Mm-hmm. How is that going over? What is the mood of the Auburn faithful? Are they distraught because they're bad and they're losing players that they think could help them out? Or are there more of them kind of from my school like, hey, you ain't won 6 games. I'm ready to try it with somebody else, including a new coach.
Yeah, I think you saw a shift. Over, the 50, it felt like, portal injuries. I think we're a little over 30 now. But I think early on there was, okay, why are so many guys leaving? We talked so much about roster retention and all that. And then really, after Cam Coleman left, which was certainly the biggest one, I think the day of, it was kind of okay, and then you started hearing all these stories coming out, not necessarily about Cam, but just about other guys who had already announced that they're, intent to enter the portal. And I do think you felt a bit of a pivot with the fan base, where it's like, you know what, get out of here. If you don't want to be here, get out of here. We're about to have so much money to throw at guys in the portal, yada yada yada. So I think now most Auburn fans are, with you, Bubba. But as far as how it started, I'm not sure. I think it took them a little bit of a heartbreak to get there.
Let me ask you about Cam Coleman. He's from Phoenix City. He grew up watching Auburn, being an Auburn fan. And now the last rumors I saw, and who knows, Texas is number one on his list.
He was seen eating dinner with Arch Manning. What do you think they talked about?
Well, probably, I'm going to guess maybe coming to Texas. But I want to know this. Has Cam Coleman ever got on the interstate in Phoenix City and drove all the way to Texas? That is going to be a big change than going across a bridge like he's been doing.
Yeah. I mean, I say this a bunch, every offseason and every time the portal opens. There's a million reasons a kid gets into the portal, right? Sometimes it's strictly money. Sometimes it's playing time. Sometimes it's the pursuit of a championship. Sometimes it's to improve draft stock. You never fully know what it is. And sometimes it's for guys to get closer to their family. So you never know what's most important to a guy. It does seem like playing with Arch Manning is important to Cam Coleman. It does seem like, that $4 million mark is certainly been thrown around a bunch, which I just can't imagine staring somebody in the face and asking them for $4 million. But I think he's going to get it. So good for him. But, I'm sure Texas is going to offer to fly his family out every game. I'm sure they won't be driving down the interstate to Texas, but it's
that
going to be
Atlanta
interesting.
airport ain't no cakewalk either.
No.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
At least we won't have to navigate that again with the bum knee like you had. So we're good now. I feel like it's a cakewalk from this point if we have to go back through that.
Well, though, if you offer a kid $4 million, you can almost guarantee he's going to get hurt. I mean, it happens so many times. You pay out, you break the bank, and the guy, he's out for the year. Turf toe or something.
That would be a shame for everyone involved.
Yeah, it would. It would. Yeah. So, any other thoughts, gentlemen? And we're going to wrap it up for this week. We'll be back for one more preview of the national championship game. Our budgets here, speaking of, are just so deep. And we have so much money to spend on the show. I'm not too sure we shouldn't send Hunter and Nathan out to the national championship game to do this program as a preview.
Hey,
what do y'all think?
Look, I don't know where it is this year. I think it's in Miami, right? So I've never been to Hard Rock Stadium. That'd be fun, but I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see.
Well, maybe
me and Hunter loose in Miami. I mean, that's a sitcom episode right there.
Maybe the barn can cough up half the money, Hunter, and we'll make a deal, huh?
Oh, God.
Well, guys, I have enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. Zach, we want you to come back again. Love your commentary. Always very entertaining. And I tell you, that is a sharp microphone. I'm impressed.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks. Pleasure to chat with y'all. This was a lot of fun.
Hunter, any last thoughts?
No, I'm. The only thought I have is I'm excited to see how this season ends and who we crown a champion. I really hope, even though it goes against one of my picks, that we get an Ole Miss Indiana national championship. I think that would be a great storyline. One side you have a school that was kind of abysmal and now they're at the top, and you have Ole Miss who lost their head coach who thought they'd have a better opportunity elsewhere, and they're one game away from the national championship. So I think it would be hilarious if it happened, personally, just from the Ole Miss side, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited.
Nathan, any last thoughts?
If Indiana wins the national championship, we all need to drive to Bloomington and eat some pork tenderloin sandwiches, just to christen the title.
Well, what I'm going to do tomorrow is spend a little bit of time trying to convince my boss, Greg Sykes, the athletic director at Jack State, that me and him need to go to the national championship game, which means he'll pick the tab up for it. So I think that's a wonderful idea.
That's it. I agree.
And then add a +1 to that tab, so because I'm your assistant. So,
guys, I have enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Nathan. Thanks, Hunter, for joining us. Until toe touches leather again, you've been listening to the Tailgate Tailgate Show, done by the not so ready for primetime pickers. Be sure to check out our website, the tailgateshow.com. You know, I named this, and it's tripped me up several times here the last few weeks. About like my picks, that's for sure. Be sure to go to that, find our radio partners. Also, look at our merchandise. We've got there some cool hoodies just in time for the winter's time, and we enjoyed it. And we will catch you on the next Tailgate Tailgate Show. So thank you all for being here. Take care. God loves you. We do too. And happy football.
Attention business owners, print buyers, and production managers. Guaranteed Labels is here to help you focus less on your printing, labels, decals, and focus more on growing your business. Guaranteed Labels wants to be your reliable printer. Quality, on-time shipments, and stock programs set us apart. If you're needing to focus less on your printing and more on your business, trust Guaranteed Labels, 205-640-4552 or GuaranteedLabels.com. Guaranteed Labels, still sticking since 1988.
Land is more than just dirt and timber. When you manage it, you're a steward of wildlife and a caretaker for future generations. The management advantage was built for people like you. For over 20 years, they've shared proven knowledge from some of the nation's top land and wildlife managers. From food plots to predator control, it's education that turns passion into a lasting impact. Have the advantage on your property. Subscribe on YouTube and follow the Management Advantage on social media today.
You know one thing I love about Buffalo Wild Wings? You can get wings with any of their 26 sauces and dry rubs for takeout and delivery. That's like bringing an entire B-dubs home with you, which you can't do. I tried. I've knocked down so many walls, only to then be told to halt construction because I'm not zoned to be a sports bar. Kinda just looks like a big pergola or something because of the lack of walls. At least these 26 sauces and dry rubs are available to go. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
You've been listening to the Tailgate Tailgate Show, a production of Intergalactic Pants and Tees, all rights reserved. Be sure to like and follow and subscribe to the show and all social media. Contact information is on our website at thetailgatetailgateshow.com. Until next time, may your coals stay hot and your tent stay dry.
Legend will